Ladies and gentlemen, today we're going to be talking about my thoughts on the season so far in Call of Duty Black Ops 6 Zombies. If you want to know my thoughts on the launch, like the maps of Terminus and Liberty Falls, and my thoughts a little bit after launch, then go ahead and click the link in the description or check it out. But this is going to be my thoughts on Citadel, The Tomb, and Shattered Veil. So we're going to be talking about all three of these maps, just going over my thoughts, what I think of them, and what I like and what I don't like about them. So we're going to be starting off with Citadel. So Citadel came out during a really good time. It came out pretty early. I was really shocked that we were getting maps so soon, and it's been pretty awesome that we've been getting about a map about once a season. So starting off with Citadel, pros and cons. The pros, I like the map design. I like the actual flow of the map. Basically that it's not a facility map is basically what I like about it. I think something I would critique is that a little bit too much of the map is the village part, and not enough is what I would consider like the actual castle. Like, you look at the castle, it's huge, it's a massive castle, and we're only discovering this little tiny portion. Like, I would love to go up in that big tower up in the background. But, you know, it's whatever. I'm just thankful that it's not a facility, and they're not just going back to facility. So that's really good. The wonder weapons, absolutely phenomenal. The 4 swords, the 4 elemental swords. I love that they're melee weapons, so they don't take up a weapon slot. And they're very powerful, especially after the buffs there. So you have the Raven Sword, which I really like. You have the Lion Sword, which is absolutely amazing. You have the Dragon Sword, which is cool. And then you have the Lightning Sword. All of those swords have their own little purpose. They have their own little fun gameplay styles, which I think is really neat. I think any map with 4 elemental wonder weapons like that already gets some bonus points in my book. The Easter egg as well is really good. I think it's the most complex Easter egg we've gotten so far in Black Ops 6. A good chunk of it is getting the wonder weapons still, but also there is also a good chunk after getting the wonder weapons. I think what really stumped me and threw me off, and something I would never have thought of, is the weapon inspect part, where you get all the 4 swords, and then you have to use the incantation on the statue and then do your weapon inspect. I think that's really cool that they're kind of going beyond the veil there, where they're really kind of stretching the limits of what they could do with their game for these Easter egg steps. And something like a weapon inspect or an emote or anything like that, I think it's pretty cool. I would have never thought about that. Usually most of these Easter eggs just hold square here, hold square there, shoot this pixel on the map kind of thing. So very interesting there. The boss fight as well, absolutely amazing. I think the Guardian is, I think just the design and the arena and all that is really cool. It's really well made, and you can't just chopper gunner spam it, which I really appreciate, because that was like a main critique of Terminus. I know I didn't mention the chopper gunner spam in my Easter egg guides or anything for Terminus, but it later became pretty apparent, and it's pretty apparent in Shattered Veil as well, that if you are able to, using a chopper gunner in a boss fight absolutely melts it. So I think the safest bet you could do was the Mangler, or yeah, like the mutant injection, I should say. But the strategy where you could just poke him with the drill and the Aether Shroud, that was hilarious though. I absolutely loved that. But yeah, the boss fight, absolutely incredible, super fun. I just love that they're actually well designed. So the fast travel as well is another pro I like about the map. It has some pretty cool fast travel. There's the cannon, which you can take both into and the village, and also into the castle. So I think something that's a little, what I don't like about the cannon is that it's kind of out of the way. It feels like you're already going to the village. Like, if you're going from the castle to the village, you're already kind of halfway there. Like, I feel like it takes more time to go to actually go to the cannon, but it's still pretty cool nonetheless. And you also have the slide. I always appreciate when it's not just like a portal for fast travel, which I always appreciate. Zip lines are pretty cool, but they're not in this map. Vulture Raid, something I did not expect. Voltrade coming back, I absolutely appreciate that, and I love the machine design. I think it's super cool. I think it's such a shame that they only designed these machines for one map, and then it's like, hopefully they all come back later on in like another map that these machines come into. But man, the Voltrade machine in this game is sexy. I love it. The Doppelgast was a really cool addition. I know that I was getting really tired of the Mangler spam. Unfortunately, amalgams are still on the map, but the Doppelgast, it's still a pretty good addition. I just kind of wish that the Doppelgast kind of had something more to do with the actual map. It seems like a lot with these Dark Ether enemies that they're just meant to all be this homogenous hodgepodge. I really wish that there was more enemies that were contextualized to a certain map. Like the amalgams in Terminus did make sense, and I do appreciate that, but again, I don't know what the Doppelgast really has to do with Citadel. It doesn't really make any sense to me. The incantations, though, are incredible. I know there's a lot of special enemy spam, but those incantations, they just completely remove any problems that you have. They're super powerful. They're super fun. Really love that they're those optional tacticals. The Tesla Storm came in, and that was pretty cool for a little bit. I really don't use. I used it a couple times just to mess around with it, but I'm still not using it as much. But you know, I'm not going to complain that they're not adding, or that they're adding Tesla Storm. And then also the light ammo mod, that was pretty cool. I'm glad that they did something new there, like the light ammo mend mod thing. That's like actually new. It's not just ported from a previous game, which I appreciate, and it's pretty powerful. I'm like, it's a healing thing, you know, it's whatever, but it's actually pretty powerful. And then yeah, the audio logs, those are pretty cool. Kind of introduced Richtofen a little bit. So going over some cons, the side Easter eggs in this map were not it. Like the bell tower Easter egg, if you guys don't know, you have to launch from the cannon like 100 times, and then on like the 100th time, or it's like the 115th time, you'll launch into the bell tower, and then it'll give you a monkey bomb, which is absolutely ridiculous. I have no idea why. Next up is the fact that the amalgams are still on the map. I know I touched on that just a little bit, but I really want to hark home that, like, man, y'all need some new shit, brother. I think that I don't like how they're trying to meet the standard of like every map has to fit the camo grind or it's not worthy. I know why they have amalgams, like just so you can get Nebula on that map so you can kill elite zombies, which is total bullshit. I think they need to do away with the camo grind being linked to the maps, like, or anything. Like, I feel like if there wasn't a camo grind, they wouldn't have had amalgams in the map, because it's like, oh, you don't need the you don't need Nebula, or you don't need to play this map to get Nebula, kind of thing. Another thing was kind of the glitches. It's not really glitches, but sometimes when I try to use the sword abilities, they just wouldn't work. They would do the animation, but then nothing would happen. You would have to do it a couple times for it to actually work, or I would be pressing the buttons and it would just be like, no. It's just like, whatever, dude. Alright, I guess I'll die then. I think that was kind of a problem in Firebase Z. I'm not comparing these two maps at all, but the Ray K84 can be very inconsistent sometimes. Like, you'll be doing the same motions and same animations, and it'll just be like, nah, I don't really feel like it. And then probably one of my biggest pet peeves, I know this is like something super personal to me, and it's like, it doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of the game, but I would have really liked to see calling cards for each of the maps. Like, they had a really good set at launch, and the Dark Ops, like, Terminal is like a top 5 calling card of all time. A top 5, I would say. It's like Terminal is like the fourth or fifth place. Terminal is a fantastic calling card, and they did nothing for Citadel, which is absolutely horrendous. I think it would have been really fun to show off those challenges. I was not a fan that they put more calling cards into things like the guided modes and the limited time modes. I think doing Citadel's Easter egg on the Cowabunga Cranked mode should have been a really good calling card and not just the basic calling card with the turtle logo on it. I think that's absolutely a misstep. But pet peeves aside, my general thoughts about Citadel, I kind of wrote this down as the season was going along. It was like, keep going. Terminus and Citadel are amazing maps. The wonder weapons are so fun. I said, make it even harder. Like, fuck it. So yeah, those are my thoughts on Citadel. Moving on to the Tomb. Pros of the map, it is not a facility map. I can absolutely appreciate that. I think the Dark Ether Nexus area is super cool. The Dark Ether Nexus is very pretty. Like, the skybox is pretty incredible. Very beautiful area. It really adds some personality to the map because the rest of the map did not have as much personality. But the Dark Ether Nexus does add some spice. But again, that is kind of a problem, is that they're just taking the Dark Ether and they're like, we've seen it a lot. I think it's time to just leave it be. Just, okay, we've seen it enough, whatever. But another pro I really like is the gold armor plates. I think a lot of side Easter eggs in this game do not give out unique rewards. There is like one per map that's worth doing. So in Liberty Falls you have the Aetherella, which is the only like unique thing. And what I mean about unique things is a lot of the side Easter eggs just give out upgrades. They give out perks, they give out weapon upgrades like pack punch crystals, that kind of stuff. It's stuff that you can otherwise get in the game just by spending points. There's not a lot of unique things from the side Easter eggs. There's the music Easter eggs, which is unique, and then there's like, again, one thing like the Aetherella thing. That's like the only unique thing in the map. In Terminus, there were a couple things. It was just mainly like there's a jump scare. I'm trying to think of it. Like the meteor doesn't give you anything unique. I think the only one was the talisman. The talisman Easter egg was really the only thing that gave you something unique. In Citadel, I don't think there was any unique side quests. There was like the Rat King thing, which gave you a crown, but again, I don't know what the crown did, but the actual like tangible rewards from that were just points and upgrades and stuff. So it was really, I really appreciated that there was a unique reward for this side Easter egg, and that's the gold armor plates. Those are really cool. Another pro is the arrow traps. I don't know why. I think they just look cool. I don't know. But there are a lot of cons for me with this map. The main thing is the Easter egg. The Easter egg is a joke. It's literally get the ice staff and then do 4 little crystal trial things and then the boss fight, which is like, dude, come on, man. Like, stop with these lame ass Easter eggs, man. Make them more complicated, not more straightforward, you know? It feels like, especially with the Tomb, it really feels like they're just making these Easter eggs like for the directed mode and then just hiding all of the directed mode's HUD elements for the normal map, which is crazy to me, man. Yeah, this Easter egg is not very good. It's not very satisfying to do. The ice staff, again, I think my main gripes with the ice staff is, number one, it's not all 4 staffs. I think if they were going to bring back the staffs, they should have just done all of them, and I would have been fine with that. But why just the ice staff? It makes no sense to me. Or you could have just made, you know, this crazy thought, a new wonder weapon. That would have been weird. But another problem with the ice staff is that it is not possible to upgrade in public lobbies unless everyone is actually goated. The reason for this is because all players need to be standing next to that purple orb in the Dark Ether Nexus, which is total horseshit. Like, why can't you just, like, keep killing zombies and that is what keeps it alive kind of thing? I think it's really stupid. the symbol map layout is it's absolutely cringe to me. It's a circle, and then you have the Dark Ether Nexus, which is basically a square. So, like, what the hell's going on? I think Terminus was absolutely fantastic with its map layout. So was Citadel. Liberty Falls, even as simple as Liberty Falls was, it was still a little bit more like there was like overlapping paths and like different drop downs and stuff. The tomb is literally just a circle, bro. Like, come on. Again, the story in this map was so lackluster, and it was really apparent there was no opening cutscene, which was a giant middle finger, and then the ending cutscene was literally just Sam talking. Like, it was so funny to me that it's just the 4 characters standing around, and you feel like they're about to say something, and then the camera cuts, and I'm like, bro, what? Are you kidding me? I was dying, bro, when I was playing this on launch when it came out. Absolutely crazy. Again, no calling cards, like no mastery calling cards. And when I say calling cards, I mean like how Infinite Warfare did them, and even in Cold War did these, where there was like different challenges, like get all the lore pieces, like do this, like beat the boss fight in solo or whatever, or, like do it without dying. I'm just expecting a little bit more, and like Terminal was like do the boss fight after round 50, and then they even had one for Liberty Falls, do the Liberty Falls Easter egg in 30 minutes or less. So I really was hoping for more of these. Another absolute gripe of mine is the boss fight. It is, I don't even care that it's like the Sentinel artifact, but my main thing is that there were some weapons that were completely useless against it. Like if you brought the GS-45 and the ray guns and all that, it did 0 damage, which was absolutely crazy to me. I remember my friend, because I didn't play the map directly on launch, my friend, he was trying the boss fight, and he's like, I'm shooting it with the ray gun and it's doing 0 damage. Like, what the fuck? So do not bring the ray gun, which was absolutely crazy to me. That, and there was no like previous knowledge of that. Like, you would think with how much the game tells you about a lot of things, like a lot of these Easter eggs, the game just outright tells you stuff. You would think that there would be like, oh, the Sentinel artifact, it's impervious to explosives or whatever. There would be like some sort of in-game hint about that before you go into the boss fight. So basically, you soft lock yourself if you bring GS-45 and ray gun, which is insane to me. Or like if you bring the ice staff, so you're gonna bring the ice staff, and then if you bring the ray gun, you know, you soft locked yourself. That's insane to me that's a thing. I think if you have, now that you know about it, it's alright, but it's like, dude, imagine, I could not imagine the people hunting for the Easter egg. They all bring in ray guns or whatever, and ice staffs, and then they're just doing 0 damage. I like the mechanic of like the DPS check. I do like that as a mechanic, but the balancing on the boss fight as well was insane. I remember trying it 4 and 3 player, and it was asinine how crazy all the enemy spam was. But then I went and did it on 2 player, and I was laughing at how easy it was. Like, are you kidding me? Like, this is a cakewalk. Like, you literally you have 2 player, and then you add 1 more player, and it just goes from like lullaby time to Satan's ballsack. It's like, dude, that's crazy to me that just 1 player makes that difference in the game's coding. And then also, like, really, death perception? Are you fucking kidding me, bro? Whatever, fuck off with that. So, general thoughts on the tomb is that it was a misstep, still mid-season, so I don't know how it'll all play out. If the tomb is just 1 map and there's like a bunch more, then I think it'll be fine. Like, if we're getting 1 map a season and we're going all the way to like season 5 or 6, then, you know, it's fine. And as long as the rest of the maps are really, really good, I think the tomb is good to just have like 1 little thing. But if that's like a mainline map and we only have 1 more map to go, then fuck the tomb, bro. Like, honestly, like, it's such an insult. So those are my thoughts on the tomb. Now we're gonna be going over the Shattered Veil. So, pros of the map is the map layout. It's absolutely like incredibly well designed. I love the map layout. I love maps that just you feel like you've seen most of it, and then it just keeps going. I think it's absolutely fantastic. Like, you have the mansion area, you have the park area, and then I thought when you were just ziplining down and you were in the Sam Ballroom, I thought that was it for the map. But there's more past that. There's those service tunnels, and then it keeps going past that into that where the armory is. Absolutely phenomenal. I love when maps have that. Like in Zetsumo no Shima, I remember like first playing Zetsumo no Shima, I got in the bunker, and then I got into that underwater area all the way in the back. I'm like, dude, this map just keeps going, bro. It's like, I love when stuff does, like when maps do that. Absolutely fantastic. Again, a beautiful design. It's crazy to me that they did the color in this map a lot better. Like the skybox is much more blue when you compare it to Liberty Falls. It's crazy to me that they don't just use the same skybox, you know? I don't know if it's just me, but like when I boot up Liberty Falls, the skybox doesn't look as blue. It looks like the whole area looks more faded and like low contrast, but the Shattered Veil is a lot more high contrast, and they literally take place within like 100 yards of each other, and it's still like it's night and day with the aura. I don't know. To me, it does not seem that hard to make high contrast maps. I don't know. Another thing I like is the ray gun variants. I was glad that it's not a direct rip of the Alpha Omega variants. It had its own little thing. And then another thing I liked is the Easter egg. You know, you have the steps are good. You have all those secret rooms, which is super cool. The liminal spaces like add that mystique to the map. It's fantastic. I absolutely love it. And then the Easter egg steps themselves, while most of it is just getting the ray guns, I think it's like what you're doing with the ray guns, it kind of makes sense. So I think my only critique of the ray guns would be that you can't revert it back to the original Mark II, which I think is a little lame. The boss fight, though, absolutely insane, dude. We're finally fighting a dinosaur in Call of Duty Zombies. Absolutely crazy. Like we saw dragons, and now we got a dinosaur. Like, dude, that's awesome. And I do appreciate the touch that it's slightly different of a fight when you do it past round 100. Again, with this calling cards, like there's no calling cards. There should have been one for doing that special version of the boss fight. Like, as far as I know, I did it. I didn't notice anything that I got or unlocked or anything for doing that boss fight past round 100, other than just it's a different experience. The Disciples is something else I love. These are not annoying enemies at all. There's almost no naturally spawning doppelgas, amalgams, manglers, nothing. It's just the Disciples, and if you let the Disciple get out of hand, then there's doppelgas and amalgams and all that, and I think that's absolutely perfect what they did with that. So I really appreciate that. There is also the toxic zombies, which again I really appreciate that they moved on from pests and vermin and all that. So yeah. And the outro cutscenes as well, another amazing factor of this map. There was the pre-boss fight cutscene, which was super cool, and then there's again the actual outro cutscene, which I really appreciate that they're kind of setting it up. I don't know if Janus Towers is going to be the actual like final map, or if it's just like the penultimate chapter, I think is the term for it. There's a lot of cool side Easter eggs in here. There's like a Resident Evil Easter egg. There's a Sam, you can make the Sam ball an actual trap, which is pretty cool. There's the fog rolling in Easter egg. There's a couple more like unique things here. Again, they do a lot of it just kind of culminates into things that you can already get. But yeah, double tap also really, really cool. I'm glad that they brought back double tap. It made a lot of these weapons a lot better to use. But yeah, double tap, this game needed it, and I think it's absolutely perfect that they are in the Wonder Fizz, so you can use them on the other maps. Past round 25, because when you get past round 25, that's when the game starts getting really chunky. So you can just grab double tap, and it makes the other maps a lot more bearable. Some cons for the Shattered Veil. I think the Abomination step is an absolute travesty. I think it should be thrown in the garbage can. But yeah, it's just mainly trying to manipulate the AI, which really pisses me off. There's no new Wonder Weapon again. It's just the Wonder Waff and then the Ray Gun Mark IIs. There's no new Wonder Weapon. I really hope we get a new Wonder Weapon, or an original Wonder Weapon in the Janus Towers map. If it's the Cerberus, I might crash out. But again, no calling cards and no intro cutscene. Like, what is going on with these cutscenes? Like, they were doing so good with the openings. Maybe it's like the Liberty Falls cutscene is supposed to be the intro cutscene for the Shattered Veil, but I don't know. That feels like a cop-out. But yeah, Shattered Veil, absolutely amazing map. It almost makes up for the Tomb, but it is good that we are getting some good quality maps, and it's not just they did Terminus and Citadel. No, they're still going with Shattered Veil. So yeah, that's gonna be about it for the video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I can't wait for Janus Towers. I don't know when it's coming out. I think it should be end of May or beginning of June, maybe. I'm not entirely sure. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching it, and I will see you guys next time. But at least these side Easter eggs are a bit more... What the fuck? It scared the fuck out of me, dude. Why? But yeah, double tap also